my volume up, and I will turn y'all's volume up. And greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to this impromptu Around the Hearth. They recently dropped on YouTube anyway, the character creation portion of their stream for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and I found out information about, all of us who watched it, found out information about the ability scores, and I had been waiting on that type of information because it means so much to the system itself, and I'm just glad we got it out, and I wanted to get something out to put up really quick because I had my thoughts and I wanted to say it. Quick disclaimer, this is an adult podcast that sometimes features adults, that sometimes use adult language. Not so much this time, probably. You have been warned.
Yeah, we just got done with a 3-hour session of 1E. I don't know how many bad words I have left in my system.
The Pathfather has spoken. Patreon for Black Dragon Gaming and the of Planar Crossroads is both going on. For the Planar Crossroads, we have a $50 a month giveaway for the rulebook.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. We have a $100 giveaway for a special edition Pathfinder Playtest rulebook. So if we get up to $100 a month, a giveaway will happen that we will give away a special edition of that rulebook that just is about to drop. It's about to drop. Things are going to start shipping soon. I got a message from Paizo.
Sweet.
Wrong thing. The current thing we're going to talk about, like we said, is ability scores. This video, our next subscriber appreciation one-shot will be at 400, which Colin will be running, so you can look forward to that. We're going to, next week, this time, we'll be running our Thursday, we'll be running a Thursday game for the 200 subscriber giveaway that happened, and I'll be running that one, but you guys won't see that for a little bit. Monthly giveaway this time is for the Dungeons and Dragons, the Dungeons and Dragons complete Saturday morning cartoon, or whatever time it aired, cartoon. And I believe that's all of our announcements. Always less than 5 minutes, or your money back. All right.
You did it.
There we go. So, let's go right into this. Ability scores. They are different than in Pathfinder 1E. Feels very much like Starfinder, a little bit like 5e, but only at the beginning because they start you off with 10 and things change it based upon your race and class, which was already something that was brewing for Starfinder and for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So it was kind of great minds think alike type thing as far as the timeline of when things were made, I'm guessing. But has everybody watched that portion of the video that was posted on Paizo's official site? We will have that in the description if you want to look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know about Tommy. He said he was prepping. Yeah, I don't know if he did his homework.
I haven't watched it at all. I was going to sit here quietly and be like, but no, I was prepping for it. I prepped an encounter for a session that didn't happen at all, and instead someone's apprentice came back as a ghost and we trolled him for 3 hours. But
no, we didn't troll him for 3. We
trolled him for like an hour and a half. Half of it was important stuff for Xandu, and half of it was here's a ghost.
Fair.
Hey,
Fair.
We got some firewood. That's good too.
And
did.
firewood.
Man, I should have been making you guys track food a little harder in hindsight. Oh well.
Everybody needs some wood.
Next time.
All right. So, as it stands, from what we are seeing in the stream video that they put up on their YouTube channel, they've got the basic stuff that they talked about. They talked about character creation is what it was. But in the character creation, they talked about ability scores. So they talked about your ancestry, your background, and your class. All of those are going to influence your ability scores. We kind of already knew that because they had posted things like that in their blog before on their website. I looked at their character sheet. It looks fairly clean. It's a nice first run, and that's what this is. It's a first run of what they're wanting to get feedback on. So that's pretty cool. It does look clean, and it is a horizontal character sheet, not a vertical one. So you get a little bit. It changes the way the space behaves and how you get to work with it.
That's weird. So it sits like this, and that's your character sheet. It doesn't sit like this.
It sits like that.
That's so weird. I mean, I'm okay, I guess, but what?
Definitely did not notice that while I was watching the video.
Well, they called it out. So
I was fading in and out between leveling Xandu and watching the video.
Oh, okay. It actually looks fair. It doesn't look too bad.
It does look nice.
It's a lot cleaner than their past one. And they'll have 3, I think he mentioned 3 sheets at the back that regard your character. And that's mainly because they wanted to do a full sheet for your spells, so you didn't have to write little bitty.
That's relevant. Oh, man.
Yeah, he made the joke about being... Pathfinder being created a lot by journalists who are used to writing little tiny notes in the margins of things.
Yeah, so that's how
we don't want to force everybody to do that. You're all going to get carpal tunnel.
Yeah, none of that.
As if we don't have that already.
Yeah.
I don't play full casters, so.
As we saw before, in their racial stuff, they're also getting ancestral feats when you choose your ancestry. So that'll help you customize your elf. So you may be an elf, but you may start differently than this other elf. And that can add a little bit of something. Oh, Tommy, you will think it's interesting. He also is starting with a elf barbarian. So,
good. I don't know who he was, but
Eric Mona.
Eric Mona?
No, it wasn't Eric Mona. Oh, who was it? Oh, I forget now. Apologies, Paizo, if you actually watch this. You thumbed up my comment, so I don't know if you'll like this or not.
Jason Bowman?
Yeah, Jason Bowman. And the assurance skill, I do want to make a little note on that before we get into the ability scores, because the assurance skill works differently than I thought it did when we were talking about it. Assurance is specific to a skill, and when you say, I want to take 10, you don't add anything to it. You are taking the result of 10, is what I'm understanding it to work as now. And that is not nearly as overpowered as saying, I want to get the result on the die of 10 and then add everything. So,
but he did mention that scales, so at a certain level, it'll become you get 15. At a certain level, it'll become you get 20 automatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you also get those cool bonuses for having being trained, expert, master, and then legend at the different skills. And if you have a skill that you use that in, you can do some really cool stuff without even having to think about it.
Oh yeah, there's some really powerful stuff.
Catfall is
real. You can look back at the other Around the Hearth that we've done both on this channel and on Black Dragon Gaming to see just how powerful some of those legendary things are. I don't know. I'm still on the fence.
Vacuum of space. I'm maintaining that has to come from like lore occult, and you turn into a Cthulhu instead of that's just survival. You survival so good, you hang out in space and you're fine.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, Paizo, but I don't know. Okay, but all that said, the ability scores is what we're really wanting to talk about. Ability scores are changing. So based upon what he did, you got ability scores. All the scores start at 10. And those scores are then affected, like we said, by your ancestry, your background, your class, and any appropriate feats that may change them in the future. I'm not sure if there will be some or not. Not nearly as likely to have that happen, because it wasn't really a thing in 1E. It's not likely to be a thing in 2nd edition either. He ended up with his elf having an 18, a 14, a 12, 12, and 10. Okay? And
you're missing an ability score.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. 18.
18, 14, 12, 12, 10.
18, 14, 12, 12, 12, 10.
3 12s. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I said the other 12. But.
No.
So, what that... I did the calculation on a 1E Pathfinder thing, and it's a lot. It's a 28 point buy if you were going to do that. So
did you factor in the racial stuff that's already there usually?
It was as if it was a human. It was as if it was a human.
Okay.
So no score deficit, which is relevant because that's kind of one of the things humans, from what I understand about the blog, can do. They don't have a negative, but they don't get a second positive or something like that.
Okay.
But either way, it would balance out to be the same or relatively close. If not a 28, then a 26 point buy, which is Makes there sense. In the same thing. That's over heroic. So they're probably aiming for a 25 point buy regular thing. And Colin brought this up to me when we were off camera. It seems like if they're going to keep the villager level at 10 as normal, that the heroes are going to be more heroic and the monsters are going to be more scary.
Because they'll have to be,
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be more of a high fantasy than a low fantasy build.
The world is a lot smarter, too, if the base is 10 for everybody.
Well, the base has always been 10 in like just the average villager has 10s and an 8 or something like that. Just your average regular person, like your average human. But if that's the case in 2nd edition, then those villagers are going to need help even more than ever. And it'll create a large disparity. We don't have a lot of players in our little group that do this, at least not that I've played. I haven't seen you guys do this or anyone else. But there are some players who tend to be jerks and abuse the NPCs. And if the disparity is so large and the way crits behave, then it would only take a level 2 or 3 warrior. I mean, just a regular fighter at level 1 could dominate a town for a long time if they're a very, very small town. If you're level 3, you could dominate a town of 50, 60 people. Especially if you're actually like a village with a couple hundred people or so, you could still run it with a level 3 and then a level 1 or 2. 2 level 1s or a level 2 underneath it. And you could basically run a village. And that's kind of my concern. It's my concern for other people because I haven't seen it in my groups.
Wait till next Thursday. Wait till the evil game. Wait till I bring in 2 moons. He's spec to intimidate. So it's coming. I'm just not going to do it in Rise of the Rune Lords with a paladin in the squad. Just bring in bad cop.
There you go. But yeah, so there's a lot, and there's no dump stat. The only dump stats that you get are basically what happens with your negatives. Like the elf had a negative in his con, so he put two positives in to balance out his negative 2, or something along those lines.
One thing that I think we should catch about that is that he mentioned something about either it wasn't the ancestry, but it was either the class or the background. Maybe it was both, where you get an option of 2, 3 ability scores, and you choose one of them to add that bonus to.
Yeah, that's the background.
That's the backgrounds.
The background, yeah.
Intelligence, usually for all of them, and then I think blacksmith is intelligence, strength, or 3rd. I think it was blacksmith. Yeah,
it was blacksmith, intelligence, or strength.
And then that 3rd option.
And then, whatever option that you want. So you get a lot of points to play with, which is why your scores are so high. Because this is a high average score. There's no negative, and it's all positives except for 1.
And one of those positives is real high, too.
Yeah, it's an 18. And he technically could have put more into that 18 if I remember right. But I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong. He probably can't get higher than an 18. Because there's a certain amount of things that you can do, and you can't do it twice with a single boost. Like, you can't use Ancestry to boost twice into your strength.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So the background, you could put one into strength with the blacksmith, but then that floating bonus has to be put somewhere else, which helps balance things out a little bit with the scores. So it's not a bad system. It seems a lot more refined than Starfinder's, which is good. I'm hoping that there will possibly be an option to dump stats if you want to. That doesn't hurt you in the sense of, like, if it's just an optional rule that you can have, I'd be okay with it. If that type of point buy was an optional rule and you had 25 points or something like that, or the equivalent of whatever you would get, and you just foregone all the ancestry, background, and class points.
Oh, another option you could do with that is have have an optional dump stat that is specific to the ancestry, the background, or the class, or one or two optional dump stats that would give you a bonus somewhere else that you could apply somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it would still be specific to those groups, but it would allow you to play around a little bit more with strengths and weaknesses.
Fair. So that's kind of what I'm seeing about it. All in all, I'm not like I said, I'm not upset about the way they're working it out. It seems very customizable, which is nice. That's what you're wanting.
Yes.
Where the complaint with my complaint with what was it? My complaint with Starfinder was not that it was a bad system, but it did not feel refined. This feels refined, or at least to the point where you should release it and play test it. The fact that they're play testing this first is what really should have happened with Starfinder, and that would have made all the difference for me with Starfinder. But that's just me. The
Starfinder, in a way, feels like a pre-play test for 2E in some regards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was heavy influence for both. They were both being developed at the same time. So there's that crossover. And the things that are goods from Starfinder seem to be coming over seem to be showing themselves in a more refined manner in 2nd edition. So, So that's my 2 cents on it. What about you? What about you, Tony? You got any other opinions?
I play in games unless I'm playing with you guys, where it's like you're rolling for stats, and so you'll have really high numbers everywhere. And I like that that's been codified because like it's good to be powerful, but not have that glaring weakness from like an optimization standpoint. Like, if your charisma is real low, then you get hit with like some charisma draining something or other, and you become a huge liability to the party. To say nothing if like shadows when you have low strength are real bad. And now if everything's set at 10, that's a lot better. I'm still trying to wrap around how I feel about a horizontal character sheet. That's weird. That's what
You're so
I
stuck
guess I
on
get it, but it's because every character sheet in every game I've played has been just up and down, super sensible. Now it's just like this. It's so weird. I guess like it gives you more room to write this way, spells and stuff. So that's cool. I definitely want to see a lot more about it, and I'm still very eager to like get my hands on the thing.
Yeah.
It does look good. The character sheet does. It looks a lot more simple than other character sheets did before, because you got those bubbles to fill in for your proficiency rank. I really like that.
I do like the visual aid with the bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some cleanup that can happen, but they acknowledge that too. So I don't know. I like it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got a few hiccups that I've discussed in the other Around the Hearth, but as a whole, as far as the ability scores go, I can't think I can really complain. I was not a fan. Like there was a hard cap in 5e that you feasibly, mechanically could have passed, but you weren't allowed to pass. like 15 in a score before you add your racials was what you could do, or something like that. You couldn't get above a 20 or something like that ever, like period. And I hope that's not something that is mechanically enforced in the way that it is with 5e. I didn't like that, because there were ways to boost it above 20, but it never meant anything really. So, and with this, I hope they allow things to change, especially since those stat boosts are going to make a big difference. While the ability scores are higher, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to be all powerful versus monsters. Maybe versus an environmental thing you're stronger, but versus, say, a creature of appropriate challenge rating or level, or I forget how they were doing that. They weren't calling it CR, they were calling it something else. Just level, I think.
I think that's right.
So if you are a party, I'm assuming that they're going to be building for a party of 4. But if you are a party of 4 going up against a level 1 creature, it's going to be worth 4 of you. Hopefully they build a bit more mechanically appropriate this time, and I feel like they possibly could, because even the flavorful stuff that's there has mechanical advantage. So, at least it has for the players. I'm not sure how they'll do it with the monsters. It would be nice, Paizo, if we kept feats in the same way applicable to everybody. Like, monsters had the same feats as everybody else, instead of there being specific monster feats that you never had access to. If you met the qualifications, you could get them as a player, is how I would like that. That's just me. That's just me.
I thought that's how you could do it before. Like, I definitely have Awesome Blow on a lot of characters that, like, weren't monsters.
Yeah, but from what I understand, Awesome Blow was expounded to players, too. There's things like, what was it? Pounce is mechanically supposed to be a monster feat, but then you have classes and other feats that give you it in a different namesake.
Yeah.
So, at least in 1E. So that's something that I already feel like they're doing away with that because of the way actions behave. So, anyway, that's my feelings on stats. Any other feelings on ability scores or anything like that?
I like it because, like, having the bigger numbers means it's easier to do stuff out the gate, especially, like, we don't know how mad characters are going to be. We've seen the monk is considerably less mad now than he was, but we also don't know how, like, multi-classing works. So if I don't have to dump my charisma to have a high strength, that means I could feasibly become a bard later if it becomes relevant to the character, or if I want to do it. I don't have to come in with 5 int to have a really good wisdom, and then if I want to be a wizard later, or if I want to be an alchemist, if alchemists are looking sweet, it's a lot more feasible to do. Now that's barring any, like, ability score prereqs that may or may not exist, but even then those are a lot easier to reach. Just assign 3 points.
Yeah. Like, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I definitely do see that side to things. I hope my mic is still going.
You did it.
But I also kind of like the ability to dump stats if you want to. Like, I can definitely see a GM like that being an optional rule. But for me, I think it's kind of fun to have a player with a glaring weakness. There's it makes some interesting RP when you have to count the weight for your gold to make sure that you're not slowed down by it.
He's not exaggerating, people. He had to do that for Emeralda, his Kitsune sorceress,
and all the goblins in Thistletop,
and then hand the gold to. Did I hand it to Shien? I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then Magpie got it off of him when he died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this was just meant to be a quick one, so it's about 25 minutes in. That's good enough, I think. We've given our opinions. No demp stat so far. We'll see how all that goes. We do like the customization available and would like it to be
very much
optional thing, but we'll see. That's all we have, I guess. As always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.